Oh my gosh. Hey, Crazy Dre Podcast.
Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your main man, a.k.a. Crazy Crockett, a.k.a. Andre's Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's spring. I hope everyone's having a great time. The season is changing. The weather's getting warmer. MLB baseball is right around the corner. The first game of the season has already been played by the Cubs and by the Dodgers about a week ago. But here we are, MLB baseball. I have to talk about the Detroit Tigers. I was going to go backwards, but I'm going to start with Detroit Tigers. So, folks, first of all, we got a couple injury reports for Detroit. We got Parker Meadows out. He's got a nerve issue, upper right arm. Don't know really about what's going on with that. He'll be out for until he gets that fixed. It's kind of unfortunate that his family has since have bad luck with injuries or some other issue. His brother was once with Detroit Tigers, also with Tampa Bay. Last year, he basically resigned from baseball for the time period to work out his issues. So the Meadows family have. I hope they figure things out for both of the guys. Matt Verlin is also out with a shoulder injury. By doing that, by having those two guys out for Detroit, in the outfield, we had to sign Manuel Marget to a one-year deal, $1.3 million. Played with the Twins last year. His lifetime average was, I think actually it's not lifetime average, but last year average for the Twins was 238 batting average, on base percentage .289, 4 home runs, 31 RBIs, 5 steals, and 129 games. So, when you have to fill in spots, Akea Badu is also out. He had hand surgery, a broken bone in his hand, so he'll be out for a while. So the other guys that we have to talk about is Alex Cobb, starting pitcher, 37 years old. He's had hip infusion or something. He seems to be inflammation. 1-year deal, $15 million. I think that's a bit far stretch of why we even signed him in the first place, knowing that in the past that he has had problems with injuries like that. Juanson Perez, he seems to be playing or out. I can't really figure out what's going on with that. On baseball reports, it's based on that he's out. So I'm going to have to take it by a grain of salt. Gerber Torres is our new free agent for our second base. They moved Colt Keith to first base. Torres is signed for 1 year for Detroit. I think that talking to Vera, an old Tiger player last year, 2 years ago retired, talked him into coming to Detroit. That's one guy that the Yankees will miss. I think he was batting .255, couple home runs last year with the Yankees. This is Detroit Tiger Stadium, so the stadium is not small like it is in New York, but it moves. This is the interesting thing about this move. So we've had problems with Spencer Torkelson, and I think if Spencer Torkelson figured out his bat, we probably would have never signed Torres, because we would have kept Colt Keith on second base. However, some people think that Colt Keith was struggling on second base with the enhancement of Spencer Torkelson having problems at the bat. We would have still moved uh, Colt Keith somewhere else. But I I think this is a good move. I think this is actually a better move for Detroit. I don't know how much help that would help Spencer Torkelson be the DH, because if you're the DH and you're not playing, what does that do for you? I mean, if you're not at bat or you're not on the field, you're not. I don't see how that's going to work. Even if, let's say, Colt Keith has a slump, a couple games, and then you put Spencer out there for DH, or I mean, to take the spot for Colt Keith. I don't know how that's going to work. Um, but knowing that, I I am going to go into more deep depth of Detroit Tigers. Uh, here you go. Come on. I'm gonna go to more of a depth chart of Detroit. So I'm gonna go talk about Detroit's uh, position players first. Obviously, we got Jake Rogers as catcher. We got Dylan uh, Linger as a backup. He's actually a really good prospect for Detroit. So behind Jake Rogers, if he's got a better bat, if Dylan has a better bat, I could see us replacing Jake in the middle of the season if he's catching on how to call certain games for certain pitchers. For Dylan, I think it's great that we have Jake to teach him the ropes of the game. Uh, Jake sometimes has power. Most time, he doesn't make connections with the ball. So that's kind of maybe a little weak spot for us, but it seems like that Turk Skubal, Jack Flaherty, Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and Jackson Jobe, well, that they have a decent catcher. So this catcher has been with this team, this squad, for the last 2.5 years. Uh, I think it's going to be a good thing for it to keep Jake as the catcher primarily all year. He'll have nights off, and you can put Dylan in there. Uh, Colt Keith, I said before, is first baseman. They got Torkelson right behind him on an off night. Um, if you have to play 5 games in 6 nights or whatever reason that is, you can switch back and forth. They say Spencer Torkelson's batting a little bit better, hitting the ball, seeing it better, but I'm not. I can't really tell you that's. I'm not at. I was not at in Florida to watch those games. Uh, they do have the third backup to first base is Andy Ibanez and Zach McKinstry. I think they got Zach Mazinski at third base because Matt Verlin is out. So that'll move Zach to the first rotation at third base. Going to second base. Let's go to second base first before I get this all mangled up a little bit. So they got Gleyber Torres at second. Again, I think that's a lot of it has to do with the fact that Torkelson isn't hitting the ball that well. You got Colt Keith as a backup. So again, if Gleyber Torres needs a night off, they move Colt Keith to second base and throw Spencer Torkelson out there on the field. Again, I think it's going to be a better thing for them to have uh, Torkelson play as much as possible. Uh, you got 162 games a year. I would figure you would start, maybe he'll play maybe 70 games this year, depending on how you see the season going. But again, the third backup to second base is Andy Ibanez. Andy Ibanez is basically your uh, your universal player. So, or your utility player. So that's something to say for Abayez. So at shortstop, we got Trey Sweeney, and then we have again Abayez at the second option for shortstop. I would almost tell you the truth. I would almost, depending on how well uh, Javier Baez is seeing the ball, hitting the ball, I would almost switch those two guys around, um, just for uh, the purpose that Baez has probably got a lot more power. So that's something that we have to look into as well. Uh, Left field for Detroit, right? Riley Green, good spot for him. Play He can play center, can play right field, but left field seems to be the spot for him. Justin Henry Malone, he was a standout from last year. A little bit of a surprise, a guy that helped Detroit with a run to the playoffs. They can put Zach McKinstry out there. Again, Matt Verlin is out, so that's something to wait on a little bit. Uh, the center field, it may be a bit of an issue. They do say that they're going to put Javier Baez in center field if needed. They have Ryan Kreidler out in center field, so I can't say much about what's going on with that. They have in right field. They'll have Kerry Carpenter. He had a phenomenal year last year. Was out maybe 2 weeks, and we kind of started the slump with it without him in there. So he seems to be the cattle of the stock. So that's something to. I'm looking forward to seeing him at bat more. He's got a nice swing, great of vision, great energy. Very every time I see him, he's got a smile on his face. So that's something that you want to bring to the team in itself. Uh, when we look at the Dodgers game, the first game of the year for the Detroit Tigers and the Dodgers, again, the Dodgers have already played 2 games. This will be Detroit's first game. Uh, Tarek Skubal against Blake Snell. Uh, You got your Cy Young winner and Blake Snell. I think he's won a Cy Young before. But uh, the Dodgers are moving players. Shohei Ohtani will be a starting pitcher sometime in the season. Uh, I think that Detroit got very fortunate that Jack Flaherty wanted to come back to Detroit. I thought that he was going to come back to Detroit because I just think that the chemistry of him in Detroit went really well. Uh, if Detroit didn't do so well, they didn't make the playoffs. Um, I don't know if he would have came back. If Detroit didn't make the playoffs, I don't think he would have made it. I just don't think he would have came back. Um, Reese Olson will be someone to. He is a very surprise pitcher for Detroit. Uh, didn't seem to have a lot of great power. He's got great location on the ball to place the ball. Uh, just a really cool, mellow kind of guy. Uh, he almost looks like he's not playing baseball, just throwing the ball but back and forth to the catcher, to Jake Rogers. Uh, so Jackson Job will be probably the fourth pitcher for Detroit, um, or it could be Casey Mize the fourth and Jackson Job fifth, vice versa, but it doesn't matter. Jackson Joe will be taking the spot for Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb, again, I said before, I think it was too much money for a guy that you're not really going to do much with him. Uh, if he's got hip injuries and inflammation, and he's 37 years old, I mean, you have to have a landing spot, and you have to have your lower body is just as much or more important than your arm is at this point of your career, because you have to land in a certain spot of the mound to create velocity, control, everything. Uh, Even a couple inches, centimeters of the ball stays up in the strike zone. It could be temperamental. to the team. Um, but Jackson Jobe, I saw him pitch a couple nights ago. I liked what he did. I like what he's doing. Um, but this is going to be his first year as a MLB player. So hopefully it works out for Detroit that he's doing something for it. Uh, Casey Mize will be in his second year of coming out of that Tommy John surgery. So that's something to kind of this is going to basically be the year to basically kind of break it or make it for Detroit with Casey Mize. I could see him going into the bullpen if he has continued problems with Detroit as a starter. But when I saw him last year, I thought that a lot of people uh, were giving him too much crap. I think you have to come back in your own pace. You have to figure out uh, your strengths again. You have to warm up to your elbow, your arm, your whole get up. It's not something that people think that Tommy John surgery come back and you can just throw exactly the same way that you used to. Sometimes you have to relearn how to pitch, get the feel to it a little bit. So I'm looking forward for Casey Mize. I think he's got the right attitude, but I feel like he can I would say man up to this. Some guys come back from an injury and never recover from that injury. I do think that a good example of that is like again Justin Verlander. He had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. Came back throwing the ball just as good. Uh, didn't have a great year uh, based on his um, based on the numbers, but that's a promising thing for Detroit. But with Casey Mize, I think he can tough it out a little bit. But going from Detroit, I want to I want to talk about a little bit about this new setup. Oh, wait, my microphone wants to play games with me. This new setup. Well, this new setup. Oh wow, and the microphone sounds a lot better. So I want to set up to talk about Richard Pitino leaving New Mexico, going to coach Xavier University, another big East team. His dad is on that team, is at the Big East, playing, coaching for St. John's. So this is going to be one of the first times or only times that you're going to see a father son coaching against each other in the same uh, conference. So this is going to be that's going to be something that's going to be kind of a little wacky for the job to see dad and son coach against each other. I don't know what you would do if your mom or your wife is at the game. You don't want your son to lose, but you don't want your husband to lose. So that's going to be an interesting point. And I guess Rick Pitino's he can't get mad if he loses to his son because it's fair competition. And if you're Richard Pitino and you lose to your dad, you're like, oh, dad one up me this time. So I feel like I don't know how many years left Rick Pitino has in the Big Ten. I mean the Big East, but I feel like I feel like if he has another 3 or 4 years under his belt at St. John's, that would be something to like you could banter back and forth at holidays and vacations and all those times of being together away from the court. So that's gonna be. I would like to have a relationship with my father if he was a coach and I was his his nemesis, friend nemesis to another team. That'd be kind of fun. I would love to do that. Actually, you know what? I think Aaron Boone's whole family line is from New York Yankees is that line of father coaches, but I don't think that they ever coached against each other. So, uh, going to the NFL a little bit, I'm going to talk about the New York Giants signing Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal. I don't know what's going on with the Steelers. For a while, there was talk about Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers, but the Giants. I don't know why they would sign an older, athletic player like Russell Wilson. I know he's a Super Bowl champion. I just don't feel like he has the body for it or the mind for it anymore. I think it's muscle memory. That's what he's doing. But I can't see how he's not going to get hurt sooner or later. The Giants is not, they're not a great team, and I don't know if they're going to be able to protect him at this state of his career. So that's something to just kind of a wish-wash about it. Going to the NBA, I gotta say Jimmy Butler has has made the Warriors a better team, and what's great about him is that he's not throwing up 100 3-pointers, but he's playing his game. He's going inside inside the of the paint. He's swiveling back and forth into the lanes. He's taking his 15, 17 footers, layups, dunks, whatever, however he can score points. The NBA has been notorious for 3-point kings and queens of whatever that 3-point line is all about. But Jimmy Butler is making a point of I do it my way, or you can get out of my way. So I think the Miami Heat, you gotta say something about uh, Patrick Riley. I think his old school system is failing for him. The NBA players are not playing into that style. Um, but I do still think that the NBA will, if you have too many networks and you have to pay too many networks to get your game on TV, so you have to watch a network game or your own team, you have to pay a purchase for that network, you're going to lose viewership. So that's something to think about. Damian Lillard is out, has a blood clot in his leg, I think. Uh, let's see here. And then going back to the Dodgers, I have to go back to the Dodgers for a second. The Dodgers are going to go to the White House, and they accepted the invitation to the White House. As a person that loves baseball, and I do like the Dodgers. I don't like them as much as I love the Detroit Tigers, but I think that's pretty cool that they're going to the White House. That's something that's I think even if you don't agree with some of the politics of your own government, it's good to be recognized and to show respect for your country in that form and shape. Or obviously, Otani is not American, or either some other players on that team. Um, but that's something to appreciate. Detroit Pistons basketball. I got to talk about that. I am a little concerned about Cade Cunningham not playing again. He has got a calf injury. Obviously, you could set out for the San Antonio Spurs game. Uh, Detroit beat them like 122 to, I don't know, 98, something like that. I don't remember. Oh wait, 122 to 96. So I get it. He's not playing 2 games in a row. Marcus Sasser is playing phenomenal. I sometimes wonder why we start Tim Hardaway. Instead, we should start Beasley, and then we should also have, when Beasley comes out, Detroit should put in Marcus Sasser. And Sasser just has a better shot. He has a better feel of the basketball. He just has a better presence around the court. He seems to be able to get open a lot faster, a lot better. Uh, Tim Hardaway Jr. I get it. Your dad's Tim Hardaway, the one of the best cross. Uh, uh, what's it called? Uh, Cross dribblers. I can't remember what it's called, but one of the best ball handlers in the NBA in the '90s. But you know, again, Tim Hardaway Jr. is getting up there in age. I just think that if Detroit wants to move on to the next level in the playoffs, you want Beasley starting with Cade Cunningham, and then you want uh, Sasser coming off the bench, and then you can have uh, Tim Hardaway come off the bench if needed. So that's something to talk about a little bit. I think that what else is that only thing I want to talk about for Detroit? Well, I mean, I could go by the stats. I mean, I do like Tobias Harris. I think he's been seeing the ball a lot better, scoring about 15, 13 points a game. For a while, he's only scoring 8, 9 points. We need more production with him. Asir Thompson, it's kind of a bit of a surprise, actually, because he's more of a defensive player. He creates defensive uh, plays for Detroit, and then they can get to a lot more fast breaks. He gets the recipient, receive the ball. I can't pronounce words, so there you go, folks. But Thompson seems to turn the ball. With his defense, he turns the ball over, and then he gets rewarded at the other end of the court. Uh, Jalen Duran, I like this kid. He he scores about between about 12 to 14, 17 points, sometimes over 21 and 30 or whatever. But he's really developing really well as a center power forward. But I do like his game. I he's grown a lot a bit. Dennis Schroeder, uh, he's a bench player, but I see why they started him. They need another big guy up there. But I seriously would put Malik Beasley over Tim Hardaway Jr., uh, Marcus Sasser coming off the bench for that case. Uh, that's about it, folks. I mean, I've talked about basically MLB baseball, Detroit Tigers, um, little injury reports here about the NBA. But wait a second. Before I leave, I should have said something about. I should say something about Jason Tatum was doubtful until Friday. Not Friday. That's Steph Curry's out till Friday. So uh, Lillard, Tatum, and Steph Curry are both. All three of them are hurt. Lillard is out for the rest of the season, and Tatum's out for a couple of games. Steph Curry's been out for a couple of games. Old age comes and picks you up, man. That's kind of what happens. You kind of have to slow down a little bit because your knees take a lot longer to recover. So it's unfortunate that age does that to you. Um, Steph Curry did change the game, folks. So you can't get upset with him. He's a phenomenal basketball player. Created a 3-point dream dream team stuff, I guess you call it. I don't know what that means, but he basically made everyone else want to throw 3-pointers out there. But uh, in another 10 or 15 years, we'll be able to tell if the NBA became better or worse because of that. Um, so that's something to not really talk about over and over again. So I would like to thank you guys and gals to listen to the podcast, watch the podcast. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, anywhere that you download the podcast. anywhere that you can find it. That's awesome. Subscribe, add me to your channel list. I know that I've been off a little bit lately for reasons working and all that, and again, and then most of the reason why is I don't talk about sports in deep depth to it because I'm not a journalist. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not in the bullpen. I'm not in the locker rooms, and I don't like to over speculate things that I don't know. And I think a lot of other sources out there they seem to go over the step in line of that reason. And I'll give you an example next time when I talk about uh, LeBron James and Stevie A. Smith, and that's why I don't do certain things. All right, peace, love, and I'm out of here, folks.